As I was looking through this box of old books, I got to thinking about the fact that there are several different kinds of books. One kind of book tells us about true things that have really happened. In others, the stories could only be make-believe. And then there's still another kind when one can't be quite sure whether the story is true or made up. I wonder which kind of book you will think Gretchen and the White Steed is. Let's share it and find out. Gretchen called to the old gray mare.
Hurry, hurry!
Her 10 brothers and sisters called too. They were in the back of a wagon pulled by oxen. They were going west with their mother and father to make a new home in Texas. The wagon was the last in a long wagon train. Behind their wagon walked the old gray mare. 2 big sacks of cornmeal were tied on her back. Often the old mare wandered away from the trail to eat grass. Then the children would have to call her. With so many children, the wagon was crowded. Besides, it was packed with all kinds of things. There were pots and pans, beds and chairs, boxes and barrels. The wagon was noisy. The wheels creaked and squeaked. Pots and pans clinked and clanked. And the children made noise too. They laughed and they shouted. They sang songs and they played games. After dinner at night, sitting around the campfire, the children were quiet. They liked this time best of all. They would listen to their father as he told them stories. One night, he told them a story about the famous white steed. Oh, everyone in Texas had heard of this beautiful wild horse. He was all white with a cream-colored mane and tail. After the story, Gretchen said,
"It would be fun to ride the white steed."
Her father laughed.
You can be sure that no one will ever ride him. He runs so fast that the Indians have named him the White Ghost. Few people have even seen him.
If I can't ride him, could I ride the old gray mare?
You can ride the mare tomorrow. She's slow and gentle, and if you aren't in a wagon, it might be a little less noisy.
The next morning, Gretchen's father lifted her onto the back of the old gray mare. He tied her on with strong ropes so she couldn't fall off. As the wagon went rolling across the prairie, the old gray mare walked slowly behind it. Gretchen leaned back against the cornmeal sacks. She smiled happily. Why, it was just like sitting in a rocking chair. Under the hot sun, she began to feel sleepy. Her head nodded, her eyes closed. Soon she was fast asleep. It wasn't long after Gretchen fell asleep that one of the wagon wheels hit a bump in the trail. The wheel broke, the wagon tipped. Gretchen's father leaped down from the driver's seat and with the help of some of the other men, he began to fix the wheel. Gretchen's mother was busy taking care of the children, but they all had so much to do, they did not see the old gray mare wander off. She was hungry. Farther and farther she went, looking for nice green grass to eat. It was a long time before Gretchen woke up. When she did, she sat up straight. She looked around. All she could see was rolling land covered with green grass. Gretchen knew that the gray mare had taken her far from the wagon trail. She knew, too, that she was alone on the prairie. Where was the wagon train now? would she ever see her family again? She said to the mare,
"Won't you take me back? We are lost out here on the prairie."
But the old gray mare didn't seem to mind being lost. She just went on eating. Gretchen wondered what to do. Suddenly, Gretchen heard hoofbeats. Out of the bushes galloped another horse. It was a big white horse with a cream-colored mane and tail.
"Oh, it must be the white steed."
Rearing up on his hind legs, the white steed neighed. Then he turned and started to gallop off. The old mare neighed and galloped after him. Holding on to the mare's mane, Gretchen cried,
"Stop! Stop! Please stop!"
But the old mare kept right on galloping after the white steed. Gretchen tried to untie the rope so that she could slide off, but she couldn't get the knots undone. All she could do was hold tight to the mare. Soon they came to a grassy valley. The white steed stopped and neighed loudly. A large herd of wild horses came rushing toward them. They ran up to the old mare and touched her with their noses. It was their way of saying hello. One of the horses sniffed at a sack of cornmeal. A bit of the meal had come through the sack. The horse tasted it. He seemed to like the taste. Then he nipped the sack to get some more. The other horses smelled the cornmeal. They crowded closer to Gretchen and the old mare, and they too nipped at the sacks. By mistake, they nipped Gretchen's legs too. Oh, they didn't mean to harm her. They were only trying to get more of the cornmeal. But their teeth were sharp and their nips hurt. Gretchen cried out,
"Go away! Please, go away! You're hurting my legs."
Gretchen waved her arms and shouted at the horses. They just kept snorting and nipping as they ate all the cornmeal. The white steed was nearby eating grass. Now he looked at Gretchen. He ran toward the wild horses and chased them off. Then the white steed started to chew at the rope around Gretchen. Oh, at first Gretchen was frightened. But then she saw that he was trying to help her. He kept chewing until he had bitten all the way through the rope and Gretchen was free. Then, with his teeth, the white steed took a firm hold of the collar of her dress. He lifted Gretchen down from the back of the old gray mare. Gretchen looked at her legs. They were covered with red marks where the horses had nipped her. She began to cry.
"My legs hurt. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. And I'm lost. How'll I ever find the wagon?"
The old mare was happily eating grass. She did not come when Gretchen called, but the white steed seemed to listen. He started to walk away slowly, and he kept looking back at Gretchen as if to tell her to follow him. She did, and he led her to a water hole. Gretchen washed her face and her hands. She splashed water on her legs. She drank, too, scooping water with her hands. It was now late in the day. Darkness was spreading over the prairie. Gretchen yawned. She was so tired. Crawling into the tall grass, she fixed herself a place to sleep. She lay down, closed her eyes, and soon she was sound asleep. When she awoke, the sun was high in the sky.
"Oh, I've slept too long. I must try to find my way back to the wagon."
First, Gretchen went back to the water hole, and there, standing beside it, was the old gray mare. Gretchen was so happy to see the horse. She patted her mane.
"You'll take me to my family, won't you, old gray mare?"
Gretchen tried to get up on the back of the old mare, but she was too short. Then she saw a big log lying on the ground. She thought if she could get up on the log, she might be able to get onto the mare's back. But She couldn't get the mare to walk to the log. She pushed at the mare's legs. She yelled at the mare. But it was no use. The mare would not budge. Suddenly, Gretchen was afraid again.
What will I do now? No one will ever find me here.
Tears came to her eyes. She leaned against the old mare and cried. Then she heard hoofbeats coming up behind her, and before she could turn around, she felt something pulling at the collar of her dress. It was the white steed. Gently, he lifted Gretchen and put her on the mare's back. Then, with a toss of his head, the white steed galloped off. The old gray mare galloped after him. Gretchen held tightly to the mare's mane, and on they went. Where was the steed taking her? At last, on a little hill, the white steed stopped, and there, not very far away, was the wagon train. Gretchen could see her wagon and her mother and father and her brothers and sisters. Oh, the mare leaped forward and galloped toward the wagons, and Gretchen shouted,
Mother, Father, I'm back! I'm back!
Gretchen's mother and father came running, and so did her brothers and sisters. Gretchen's father swung her off the old mare's back. He held her tight in his arms.
The other men and I have been trying to find you. We've searched and searched, but the prairie's such a big place. We were just getting ready to go out and look for you again.
The white steed saved me. He's over there, on the hill. Look!
But the white steed had already turned and was galloping off in the distance. All they could see of him was a flash of white in the sunlight.
Oh, why is he running away? I wanted to thank him.
He always runs from people. He wants to be wild and free.
Then Gretchen's mother spoke up.
Look at your legs. They're covered with red marks. My poor little girl, what happened to you?
Gretchen told them how the horses had nipped her, trying to get to the cornmeal.
Tell us everything that happened since you left. Begin at the beginning.
And Gretchen did. And when she'd finished her story, the wagon train went on. Again, she rode with her brothers and sisters. Again, the old mare followed slowly behind. Gretchen's legs soon healed, but she would always have the little scars where the horses had nipped her. When the long journey was over, the people of the wagon train made new homes for themselves in Texas. A little town sprang up, and as the years passed, the town grew. Gretchen grew too. Oh, she got married and had children of her own and then grandchildren. She liked to tell them the story of the white steed. Sometimes a grandchild would ask if the story were true, and then Gretchen would show the little scars on her legs. When her grandchildren grew up, they told the story to their children. And so it is that the story of a wild horse and a little girl has never been forgotten. And that was Gretchen and the White Steed by Erwin Shapiro. Well, what do you think? Was it a true story? We know that a great many pioneer families did cross the prairies in their covered wagons. Was Gretchen among them? I wonder what you will decide. See you again soon. Goodbye.
The preceding program was made possible by a grant from the Ohio Department of Education.